Hey, mighty man of God, it's Dr. Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become great men God's way by providing them with real answers to real problems in the real world and helping them win at what matters and even frustrates them the most as men. Welcome to the Real Men Ride Along, sitting down in my office style. I got a question for you, and it's not a loaded question, it's a real serious question. If you're currently in a relationship, I don't know if you're married, if you're in a committed relationship or not, but if your wife or your girlfriend asks you, what do you desire most from her? What do you desire most from her that will make you happy and satisfied as her husband, her boyfriend, her man, her boo? What would you tell her? If she asks you the question, what do you desire most from her? If she asks you, make a list, honey, of what you want, what kind of wife or girlfriend do you want me to be? What kind of wife are you looking for? Tell me, what do I need to do? If she asks you that open-ended question, what would you say? Now, I say the question is not a loaded question, it's a very serious question, but there's a reason why I'm asking you this question. Because most women will ask you something like that. If you're dating them, if you're currently married right now, your wife asked you this when you guys were dating. And the reason why I'm asking you this question and posing it to you right now, because 9 times out of 10, we as men give the wrong answer. I said, Joe, what do you mean? 9 times out of 10, we give the wrong answer. Because what we normally do when they ask us a question like that, we start going down our laundry list of things that we want. It may be, man, that you keep a clean house, that you keep your body up, or you stay in shape, that you actually help out with the bills. You take care of the kids, you stay at home with the kids, that we homeschool our children, that we go on trips together, that we do things. You can fill in the blank with anything. And I don't know what your preferences are, but typically we go down a list of things that we want and what we desire. But the problem is we're giving the wrong answer. See, when God brought us together as a couple, we're supposed to have a union that glorifies Him, not each other. Now, there's a fringe benefit of being married that we can, I guess, meet each other's needs and make each other feel good. But ultimately, the real goal is to bring God glory because of our union. He says what God has brought together, no man should be able to separate and pull apart. So we are to be union, and our union is to reflect our relationship with Christ. So the reason why I'm saying this is that if she's asking you, what do you desire most from her to be, quote, satisfied as a husband, what she can do to be satisfying to you as a wife, why not ask, what does God want? And then tell her what God desires and make that be your desires. The Bible tells us that, I think it was Proverbs 37:4. Got to go look it up. And I don't know which one it is, but you heard this before. That he says, those who delight in him, I think it is Proverbs 37:4, that those who delight in him, he will give them the desires of their heart. God says, those who delight in me, I will give you the desires of your heart. Now, see, we don't want to listen to that last part, the desires of our heart, what we want. But there's a prerequisite to us getting what we want if we delight in him. And the way we delight in God is to have the mind of Christ, to know what God desires in any given situation, whether it be our marriage or any other relationship, and asking, what does God want most? What does he desire most for our marriage, for our relationship, for our union? Because if you ask that and you put that to her, if you pursue that, you're guaranteed not only to glorify God, but to have a holy union. Not just a happy union, but a holy union. And let me give you an example. Now, I learned this lesson the hard way. My first marriage, I had a laundry list, and I ruined a 16-year marriage because of my expectations. Now, what I wanted wasn't bad, but I didn't father filter, is that what God desires most? And because of that, I set a bar that, you know how it happens, even when a wife tells us what they expect from us. You ever get to that point where you're trying to reach a certain thing, you say, wow, I can never make her happy. I can never satisfy her. Man, she keeps moving the bar on me. Man, no matter what I do, it's not enough. Well, that works both ways. You could do that to a woman as well. So by me setting these expectations of things that I wanted, which were pretty good things, But it exhausted her. It wore her out because she thought, wow, I can never meet those expectations. See, God never meant for us to put expectations on others that he doesn't require from us. Some people call that religion. The Pharisees and the Sadducees did that. They put requirements on people of God that God never required. So when Jesus came, Jesus had to point them back to the Father. What Father desires is what we should desire. So I ruined that first marriage because of, not just because of that, but from other stuff. But I learned a lesson when I got into my second marriage. And when my wife asked me that question, because she wanted, we're in love, she wants to be pleasing to me, because we have a list of how often we want to have sex and when we want to have sex and all this other, how often you gonna cook. It's a lot of stuff. We can put all these unfair expectations or even good intended expectations. But is it what God wants? So when she asked me the question, what does it take, or what would you want me to be or do? And I told her just one thing. Just one thing. And I told with a somber spirit, I said, all I want you to do for me is to hold me accountable for loving you the way God has called me to love you. Let me say that again. I told my wife that the only thing I want you to do is to make sure, hold me accountable, challenge me, question me, or am I loving you the way God has called me to love you? Now, if you have to understand, my wife, she was just kind of surprised by it. She said, that's all you want? I said, what do you mean that's all I want? She said, you don't want anything else? I said, oh, I want a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff I want, but I'll never tell you what they are. Did you hear me on that? I want a lot of stuff, but you'll never know what that stuff is. Because that stuff that I want is something that I want, but it's not necessarily what God desires most. What I want is what God desires most. And what God desires most is for our marriage to glorify him. And so the only way I can do that is loving you his way, not Joe Martin's way, based on conditions. How often you cook, how often we have sex, how often you clean the house, how often you doing the laundry, how often you doing this, how much money you're bringing in, how much you spend it. No. Yes, that stuff may get on my nerves if I don't get what I want. But ultimately what matters the most is what God wants most. And I want what he wants most for you. So if I'm not loving you that way, please, I'm giving you permission to call me out on it, to hold me accountable, to question me, to challenge me. Because God said in his word that if I delight in him, he would give me the desires of my heart. And one of the things he told us to do in Ephesians 5:25 is to love your wife as Christ loved the church and was willing to give his life. This is me stretching out the hands. Was willing to give his life up for her. So I'm willing to die to my expectations, my desires, my wants, in order to fulfill what God desires most for you. I'm hoping that this blessed you. If it did, please share this with a brother. They probably gonna throw, if you share it, they're probably gonna throw their phone at you. But this is not about what we want. It's about putting him first in everything. But share with a brother who you think it can bless. Share with him, because it might actually make a difference in his life. Remember, we're males by birth, but we are men by choice. So each and every day, choose to be the man that God has called and created you to be, because a male is a terrible thing to waste. So stay strong, stay blessed, and as always, stay in God's grip. Stay in God's grip, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.